Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going deep on Reply.io. It's a sales outreach platform, and AI is like their whole thing. We've got a lot to go through: their website, product descriptions, even some customer testimonials.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, should be interesting. So what we're trying to do is figure out, is Reply.io the real deal, or is this mostly hype?
Well, they don't exactly downplay the AI angle, do they?
No, not at all.
Like right away you see their tagline, supercharge your sales team with AI. Pretty bold.
Yeah, no kidding. And they just keep going with the AI stuff. AI-powered sales outreach, multi-channel sequences, lead generation from your website traffic. And then, get this, they've got these AI SDR agents.
Yeah, those AI SDR agents. So for anyone who's not familiar, SDR stands for Sales Development Representative. They're basically the front line of your sales team, doing outreach, qualifying leads. So Reply.io is saying their AI can basically handle a lot of that, the stuff that takes up so much time.
Okay, so less time on those repetitive tasks and more time, I guess, for closing deals.
Right, exactly.
But so then how does this AI actually work, like, in practice?
Good question. They don't reveal all the details. But one thing they highlight is AI-generated email sequences and responses. So think about it. You're stuck trying to write a good follow-up email. Reply.io says their AI can analyze what's worked in the past. Look at successful emails and then actually suggest wording that's more likely to get a response.
So it's not just automating stuff. It's like using AI to make your whole approach smarter.
Yeah. It's about being more effective with your outreach. And they have this tool, Findy. It's a Chrome extension, pulls verified emails from LinkedIn.
Oh, that's handy.
Right. I mean, you know how annoying it is when an email bounces back? Because you had the wrong address. Findy is supposed to solve that.
And, I mean, having the right contact info is so important, especially for high-value leads. You don't want to be wasting time on bad data.
Totally. And speaking of avoiding wasted effort, they also have this deliverability toolkit, because a lot of sales emails, they just end up in spam folders.
Which is the worst.
Yeah. And it sounds like Reply.io is really focused on making sure your emails actually get to the right person.
Which makes sense. If no one's even seen your emails, it doesn't really matter what else you're doing.
Exactly. Now, one thing that jumps out is how Reply.io really presents itself as like an all-in-one platform. They're saying they can handle everything, from building your initial contact list to actually scheduling meetings.
So they're going for that one-stop shop thing. But can one platform really do all of that well?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? I mean, having everything in one place is definitely convenient, but we need to look closer, see if maybe they're sacrificing depth for breadth.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get a little deeper into some of these AI features. They've got those AI SDR agents, AI chatbots, and like I said, AI-generated sequences and responses. It's almost like having a whole team of little AI assistants working with you.
Right. So how would that change things for you? I mean, if you had those AI features, what would that do to your workflow? Would it save you time, improve your outreach, maybe even change the way you think about sales altogether?
It's something to think about for sure. We'll keep digging into the AI stuff. But before we go too far down that rabbit hole, let's take a quick look at pricing.
Sure. So on their website, they list a bunch of different plans. You've got basic email automation, and then you go all the way up to those full-blown AI SDRs we talked about. Seems like they're targeting a bunch of different businesses, different sizes, different budgets.
And they're actually doing some discounts right now. Winter 10, winter 30.
Yeah.
Which is good for the budget-conscious listeners out there.
Yeah.
But they also break it down, like exactly what you get with each plan, how many active contacts you can have, mailbox limits, data credits, that sort of thing.
That's good, being transparent like that. So you know exactly what features you get at each price point. Makes it easier to choose what's right for you.
And if you're not ready to commit, they've got a free plan. You can try out some of the basic stuff. Low-risk way to see how you like the platform.
Yeah, you can test the waters before you jump all the way in. But let's face it, features and pricing are only part of the story. What about results? Do they have any proof that this stuff actually works?
Yeah. They have a section on their website, all customer testimonials. And some of them are pretty impressive.
All right, let's hear it. What have they got?
Well, okay, here's one. This guy, Dmitry Chervony, he was the CMO at Belkins. He says they saw 30% growth per month using Reply.io. That's a lot.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, and David Gregoire, he's the founder of Mr. E-commerce. He talks about open rates as high as 92% and reply rates up to 64%. Those are way above average.
Definitely. But we have to remember these are testimonials. They're only telling one side of the story. We got to look deeper, see if those results are typical or if they're just picking the best ones.
Yeah, good point. Got to take it with a grain of salt.
Mhm.
But still, you see numbers like that, and it makes you wonder, could you get those same results for your outreach? What could Reply.io do for your sales?
Something to think about. Now, speaking of the people behind Reply.io, on their website, they have this letter from the founder.
Oh, yeah. From Oleg Vilozor. Have you read that yet?
Yeah, I did. It's interesting. He talks about why he started the company. Seems like it all came from his own frustrations, all those tedious manual tasks that go into sales outreach.
Yeah, I think everyone who's worked in sales knows exactly what he's talking about.
For sure. But what I find interesting is that Oleg doesn't just talk about the technology. He talks about building a great company with products that customers love to use,
Yeah.
which makes you think about the company's values.
Right.
And if those values match up with yours.
So it's not just about having a cool piece of software. It's about the whole company behind it.
Exactly. And that can tell you a lot about whether a company is going to be around for the long haul, whether they're actually committed to their customers.
Okay, so we've covered a lot here. We've looked at Reply.io's features, talked about AI, pricing, even got a little peek into their company culture. So what's the takeaway so far? What's the big picture?
Well, it looks like Reply.io is trying to be like the ultimate AI-powered solution for sales outreach. From lead generation and list building to personalized messages and scheduling meetings. They want to automate and streamline the whole process. But
There's always a but.
we need to do more digging, see if they can actually deliver on all those promises.
Okay, so we're back. Still digging into Reply.io. We've seen what they're promising, heard some pretty impressive claims, but now it's time to really get into the details.
Exactly. It's easy to get caught up in the marketing hype, but we need to figure out, how does Reply.io actually help you? What are your biggest challenges when it comes to sales outreach?
Yeah, I mean, are you spending hours just trying to find emails? Are you struggling to get people to respond? Maybe you're juggling a million different channels and it's just overwhelming. That's what we have to figure out. Are Reply.io's tools really the right solution?
Right, like take that Findy extension we talked about, the one that pulls verified emails. That's cool and all. But think about it this way. What if you're mainly focused on building relationships with, like, high-level executives? You probably already have people who can get you accurate contact info, so maybe Findy isn't that big of a deal for you.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
You have to know which features are actually going to make a difference in your work and which ones are just kind of nice to have.
And it's not just about the individual features, it's how they all work together and how they fit in with the tools you're already using. Can you easily connect Reply.io to your CRM? Does the interface make sense? Those are the things that matter.
Speaking of the interface, have you seen their demo? They have a recorded walkthrough on their website. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I checked it out. Smart move on their part. Lets people explore the platform at their own pace, see how everything works, how the features connect, get a feel for whether it's actually user-friendly.
Right. It's a good way to peek behind the curtain before you commit to anything.
Yeah.
But demos can only tell you so much. What about support? What happens if you run into a problem? Or you have a question?
Well, they've got this big help center, articles, FAQs, tutorials, all that. They even have a section for customer stories, which is helpful, to see how other people are using the platform successfully.
Yeah. And product updates, API documentation. They even have a whole content library with blog posts and webinar. It's a lot. Seems like they're trying to cover all the bases when it comes to support.
Yeah, they are. And it tells you they actually care about helping their customers succeed, which is good. But there's always another side to the coin, right? What about the downsides, the challenges, the things people should watch out for?
Well, one thing that comes to mind is the reliance on AI. Everyone's so excited about AI these days. But we need to be realistic. It's a powerful tool, but it's not magic.
No, it's not like you can just set it and forget it. You still need a human in the loop. You need to understand the data and be able to adapt your strategy as you go. AI can help, but it can't replace human judgment.
And speaking of judgment, we have to think about the ethics of using AI in sales outreach. We're talking about tools that can automate personalization, predict behavior, potentially even influence people's decisions. There's a fine line there between being helpful and being manipulative.
Definitely. Like with any powerful technology, you have to use AI ethically. Be transparent about what you're doing. And you need to know about the potential biases in the algorithms. Make sure you're using these tools in a way that you're comfortable with.
It's a really important conversation to be having, especially as AI becomes more and more common in sales and marketing. But let's get back to practical stuff. Cost is always a big factor. We saw Reply.io has different pricing plans. But can you really justify the cost?
That's something each business has to decide for itself. You got to weigh the potential ROI against the price tag. Will the time you save, the increased efficiency, the potential boost in sales, will that outweigh the monthly fee?
And don't forget about training. You're investing in the software, but you're also investing in the time it takes for your team to learn how to use it.
Yeah, that's true. And another thing to consider is data privacy, security. When you're working with sensitive customer information, you have to be sure that the platform is handling it responsibly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You need to know where your data is being stored, how it's being used, what security measures they have in place. Those are questions you should ask any sales outreach platform, not just Reply.io.
Right. So we're seeing Reply.io has a lot of potential upside, but it's not without its challenges. You have to think about your needs, your budget, your risk tolerance before you make a decision.
And even with all this info, you might still have some questions or concerns. So we're going to shift gears a little now, take a closer look at that letter from Oleg, the founder.
Yeah. Good idea. We touched on it earlier, but it's worth spending some more time with it. It gives you some insight into the company's values, their vision, which can help you make a decision.
It's not just about the software, right? It's about the company behind it. And knowing the people behind the product can be just as important as understanding the features.
Definitely. So let's go back to Oleg's letter, see what we can learn. He starts by talking about his own experiences with traditional sales outreach, how frustrating it was.
So we just went through Oleg's letter from the founder, and I thought it was pretty interesting. You know, he talks about how he started Reply.io because he was frustrated, like with how inefficient traditional sales outreach was.
Yeah.
All that time wasted on things that could be automated. I get that.
Yeah. Anyone who's been in sales probably felt the same way at some point.
Totally.
Yeah.
But what I thought was interesting was that he doesn't just focus on the tech side of things. He talks about building a company culture where everyone's focused on helping customers succeed and creating products that people actually enjoy using.
Yeah, he actually uses the phrase building a great company, not just a successful one.
Yeah. Like he cares about more than just the bottom line.
Yeah.
And it makes you think about the values behind Reply.io. Do they actually see their customers as partners? Are they really all about innovation? Those things matter.
Oh, they definitely matter, especially if you're thinking about using a platform like this long term. It's one thing to have a bunch of cool features, but if the company's not solid, that's a problem.
Right. You want to know they're going to be around for a while.
Yeah.
That they're going to keep improving their product.
Yeah.
And that they're going to have your back if you need help.
Yeah. You want a company that's going to be there for you. And speaking of support, you know, we talked about all those resources they have, the help center, the customer stories, the content library. But reading Oleg's letter, you get the feeling that it's not just for show. It's like customer success is built into their DNA.
Right. It's one thing to say you care about your customers. It's another thing to actually show it in the way you build your company.
Totally. Okay, so we've gone through a lot with Reply.io. The features, the AI stuff, pricing, customer testimonials, even their company culture. But the question is, what does it all mean for you?
Right. We can give you all this info, all these insights. But the decision of whether or not to use Reply.io, that's up to you. It depends on your needs, your goals, your budget, and how comfortable you are with using AI.
So here's what I want you to do. Think about everything we've talked about today, and think about your own situation. What are the biggest challenges you're facing right now with your sales outreach?
And then imagine yourself actually using Reply.io. How would you use those AI features? Would it make things easier? Would it help you connect with more prospects?
And just as important, what are you worried about? Are you a little unsure about relying so much on AI? Do you have questions about data privacy? Or how it would work with your other tools?
Don't be afraid to keep digging. Look at their website. Reach out to them and ask your questions. The more you know, the better decision you can make for your business.
And hey, even if Reply.io isn't right for you right now, hopefully going through all of this has helped you understand the world of sales outreach a little better and the power of AI.
It's an exciting time to be in sales. There's always something new coming out, new tools, new technologies. So stay curious, keep experimenting, and always keep learning.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And that's what the deep dive is all about. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.